No Democratic way to build homes for the elderly, and there's no Republican way to revitalize neighborhoods.
And more federal dollars to this city than any other mayor in the history of Providence.
We are going to continue in that independent spirit that this state is known.
Vote for the mayor, hold the lever in the 7th column, because his experience is working for Providence.
Join me, Buddy Cianci, and together we'll beat machine politics in our city, bring business and life back downtown, stop neighborhood decay, and get our city moving. We can all be winners on November 5th, and that's important because we all have so much to lose.
Vote for Vincent Buddy Cianci, the anti-corruption candidate.
Buddy, who? He hasn't got a chance.
He'll never make it in this democratic city.
In 1974, the city Democratic machine was in disarray. Mayor Joe Dorley wanted another term, but many Democratic leaders thought his time had passed. Cianci, a political newcomer, put together a campaign in less than a year, and he did it with a coalition of frustrated Democrats and Republicans. The big surprise was he beat Dorley by a few hundred votes.
I, Vincent A. Cianci, Jr.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States.
Cianci was off and running for his first 4-year term, promising to revitalize what he called the dying city.
Mayor Buddy Cianci is building a better Providence. He is revitalizing the downtown and making our neighborhoods better places to live. Buddy Cianci is open and responsive to all the people of Providence. His programs for senior citizens are giving them new life. His economic projects mean new business and more jobs. Yes, Buddy Cianci is leading our city to a brighter tomorrow, and now he needs our support to continue. Put progress before politics.
I've been a Democrat all my life, but now I'm voting for Mayor Cianci. He's doing a great job as a mayor, and I feel that he deserves my vote.
I am a person that believes in voting for the man, not for the party. I believe that Mayor Cianci has done a marvelous job with the city.
I am a Democrat, but I changed over to vote for Mayor Cianci because he has brought a lot of jobs to the city, and my union's behind him, and I'm with him all the way. I know that you gotta go around, and there's a hole there, you gotta go around. Go around by the side door. Please.
In the city of Providence, when a problem arises, it is brought to the early morning staff meeting, where Mayor Vincent Cianci's day begins.
Chris Morris, Antonelli's Poultry Company.
This is where things start getting done.
Antonelli's Poultry Company on Deep Pasquale Avenue is called. He's got a problem. He's got a crater in front of his store, and the customers can't get in or out of the store. And I think, John, you ought to give him a call and call the construction company that has the contract there to try to see if he can solve his problem. With all that construction work that's going up throughout the city, we're going to have these problems, and we're going to have to establish some kind of a communication system with the construction companies that have the various contracts when these problems come up, because there's a tremendous amount of inconvenience when these streets are being redone. So get back to him, and let's see if we can't solve his problem as soon as possible.
That Mayor Cianci, he's really getting things done. He's planted trees, he's refurbished the neighborhoods, really brought the property value back. He's also done something for the elderly. Instead of the old people being at home and waiting to die, he's brought them alive again. He's really done something for them. And that's more than any mayor has ever done for our city before.
The mayor works with the financial community on a daily basis. He knows what is good for the city, and business leaders have confidence in him.
A few years ago, we were really frightened to death of coming downtown financially. We tried one building just as your administration was coming in, and frankly, the confidence that you've given us to invest more money has been well rewarded to us, and I hope to the city too.
I think the important thing that we have to remember is that in order for any downtown or any city to move forward, there has to be the kind of relationship between the public sector and the private sector that can make it all happen. It means the permanent jobs that do come to a city as a result of the investment of the private sector, the commitment of the administration, and of course the confidence of the people.
The mayor works with government leaders at every level. local, state, and federal. And he is bringing state and federal funds to the city.
Mayor, I got a call from John Chafee's office this morning. They'd like to set up a meeting regarding the federal building, hopefully within the next week.
Yeah, let's do that. That's very important. Let's do it as soon as we can and get some city planners involved in that also.
Okay.
Also, check when you get to the park on that complaint we had this morning. Chris Morris, I think the name was, on that freighter.
No problem is too small for Mayor Cianci's attention. He works for every citizen in the city. Their welfare is his first concern.
Did you graduate high school? Well, you know, we have you don't have a job. We have a couple of programs that you can get involved in. One is the jewelry industry offers a great deal of opportunities, and we've worked with the Jewelry Institute to get young people jobs, get them trained. Another area of opportunity is the port. We've been working hard over the past 4 years to improve our port. We've repaired the piers, deepened the channels so bigger ships can come into Providence. We are now one of the largest lumber and automobile ports in the Gulf and East Coast. And it offers great opportunity for young people to get involved.
Remember that early morning staff meeting and the poultry store owner's problem? Buddy Cianci finds time at the end of a busy day to follow up on its solution.
Glad you came up here.
Oh, is that right? What happened?
Well, when I called the office, they showed up and they come here and they fixed the whole thing.
And when the day is done for most people, Buddy Cianci is still going. From early morning staff meetings through a long day of action, the mayor works for a better future. He has accomplished many things for Providence. Yet there is still much, much more to do. Mayor Cianci is getting things done. But to continue helping you, he needs your support. Do your part to get things done. Re-elect Buddy Cianci, Mayor for Providence.
They heard Mayor Cianci would attend the opening of an envelope. They didn't know that's just one of the ways Buddy finds out what needs to be done in a city where little was done before he took office. Our port, downtown, roads, neighborhoods, and parks were pitifully neglected. Buddy's improving them all. Now when you see him in the neighborhoods at a bar mitzvah, wedding, anniversary, or simply playing bocce, you'll know why he's so available. He's working to find out what's important to you for a better Providence.
And if you... There's confidence building in Providence, $200 million worth. As important as these construction jobs are to workers, they're only part of what's happening here. When these buildings are finished, they'll bring more jobs, more revenue to the city of Providence. Mayor Cianci's experience is working for Providence. In the 8 years since he took office, his administration has helped change the face of the city with neighborhood rehabilitation projects, sidewalk repairs, and roads resurfaced. When you help a neighborhood change its appearance, you help the people of that neighborhood change their attitude about themselves. It's pride we're talking about. The kind of pride that can turn a good city into a great city. This is why we work so hard to help in the neighborhoods.
We're building pride in our neighborhoods for the future of our kids. Are you proud of Providence?
Yeah! Re-elect the mayor. His experience is working for Providence. Every 24 hours, the fire department answers over 30 calls in Providence. The response rate is 90 seconds, one of the fastest in the country. It's just one of the many city services that most people take for granted. But not the people who manage the city. Those dedicated to keeping Providence a vital city, alive and growing stronger every day.
And there's no greater responsibility than the protection of life
These are the
property.
people who tend to the city's business, who make the tough decisions, who've helped make Providence what it is today. It wasn't always this way, remember? Did you know that this year alone, there is over $200 million in new construction coming right here to downtown Providence? We've come a long way in 8 years since Mayor Cianci was elected, and there is still a long way to go, with new construction backed by the confidence of major private investors like Industrial National Bank, Gilbane, Nortec, and so many others. and the development of more than 30 acres of new prime office locations in the Capital City project marks our future as solid and the renaissance of our city as more than empty promises. Re-elect the mayor. His experience is working for Providence.
Be back in just a moment.
Thanks, Ernie. Thanks for everything. I don't want to continue this. I just want to tell you one thing. That about in July of this year, or back in June, when I announced that I would be a candidate for re-election, I stated that we were making progress in the city of Providence. And there weren't many people who said that we would be the odds-on favorite. But I had the kind of love for this city and the kind of devotion to this city to say that I would run for re-election because I felt that we were doing the right thing. I didn't know if we were going to win then, but I can tell you that America is a great country because we did win, and it was because of you and the efforts that you made. So I want to thank everyone for turning out. I guess this celebration will go on into the wee hours of the morning. And I want to thank Norm Russell. I want to thank Norm Russell for the kind of work that he did and the advertising effort in this campaign. He's the fellow in the blue shirt who's put up with an awful lot of me for the past 4 years. And I want to say thank you very, very much. You can't thank everybody, Sheila. So let's all work together to continue to build this city the way we want it built, and that is to provide the openness, the enthusiasm, and the kind of rejuvenation that we've all been used to. This is a great city. It's going to get a lot better. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Mayor, I don't know whether that's perspiration or tears of joy.
Well, it's a lot of perspiration, I'll tell you. It's kind of hot here, but certainly I'm very emotional tonight.
Frank Darrigan brought the issue out as taxes. You say that wasn't the issue. What got you reelected?
Well, he certainly the issue was taxes, but he didn't play it very well. He started talking about deficits, which everyone knew we had. And I think that Frank Darrigan represented the old machine in the city of Providence, and that's who these people threw out 4 years ago.
Are you surprised that it was as close as it was, or that you won by as much as you did?
How much did I win by?
I can't even tell you. It was about
6,000 to 7,000. Yeah. Yes, we were predicting all day that it would be between 3,000 and 5,000.
It was about 7,000.
It was about 7, and then I guess the absentees are going to push it up even higher. I'm just overjoyed, and I'm really, really happy.
What happens now? Does Buddy Cianci take a rest? Does he take a break and relax?
You know what I did?
While?
Right before I left my house to come down to the Holiday Inn, I looked at my daughter, and she's 4 years old now, and when I was elected mayor, she was just about 1 year old. And I really haven't gotten a chance to know her as much as I'd like to, so I think the next few weeks is going to be spent with her. And I looked at her, she was sleeping in bed, just so docile and so reticent. But I think I might even go home tonight and wake her up and give her a big kiss. Thank you.
Providence Mayor Vincent A. Cianci, upon his re-election, his second term in office. The mayor has another full term to serve now. Bill Northup at the Holiday Inn in Providence, where the celebration is going to go on and on for some time. Bill Northup, Newswatch 10.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much. This is your host one. This one? Thank you all very, very... Boy, it doesn't seem that 4 years has passed since I was on this very same platform when you expressed confidence in me. But today, we all work together, and the people of Providence won this election. No, my daughter's not here. She's home in bed. You're usually not accurate. The situation here is such that my opponent has conceded. And I want to start off by saying that 4 years ago we did our very best to bring about change in the city of Providence. And that change, I think, is reflected in each and every neighborhood of the city of Providence, and it's positive change. We fought a machine 4 years ago, and we won barely. And 4 years later, we fought a machine, and we pounded them. And I thank you people for that. I, Vincent A. Cianci, Jr.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States.
The Constitution.
Monday, January 6, 1975. City Hall, Providence, Rhode Island. The youngest mayor in the history of the city is sworn in. The first of Italian descent ever to hold the office. And even more important, in the 1974 election year that saw a sweep of Democrat victories across the country, here is the first Republican mayor in the city of Providence in 35 years. In the city that formed the Democrat Party power base for the traditionally Democrat state of Rhode Island. 6 months ago, he was virtually unknown. This is the story of the campaign struggle that brought him here today. The campaign began as the winds of change rustled through the spring of 1974. A weary world sought the promise of better days. April 74 saw Portugal put an end to more than 40 years of dictatorship. And France, Colombia, Israel, and Belgium welcomed new heads of state. Postal workers in Canada ended their long strike. Former President Nixon delivered 1,200 transcript pages of Watergate conversations to the House Judiciary Committee. And Hank Aaron did the impossible. He broke Babe Ruth's home run record. The morning of April 14th, with 300 to 400 people before him in the garden room of the Biltmore Hotel in Providence, Buddy Cianci announced that he would run as Republican candidate for mayor. Why run in the face of seemingly impossible odds against victory? The city itself was reason enough for Cianci.
The city of Providence has been standing still for the last 10 years, drifting aimlessly without purpose or direction, merely to be kept under control for the benefit of a few. Whenever I walk through the downtown area, I come away discouraged by what I've seen. We live in a time when all public officials are suspected of unethical behavior and lack of concern for the citizens they serve.
The Republican candidate had a vision of what his city could and should be. A city more important than the politics that was running it. But he knew the chance he was taking in trying to realize that vision.
I am deeply appreciative for your friendship and your confidence. And it is precisely because of your willingness to work with me to help return Providence to its place as the capital city of our state that I now announce my candidacy for the office of mayor of the city of Providence.
He was a long shot, this young attorney from the Silver Lake District of Providence. Outside of state legal circles, despite an effective record as a special assistant to the Attorney General and as chief prosecutor for the organized crime and anti-corruption strike force, few voters knew him or even cared.
What do you think Buddy's chances are in November?
He hasn't got a chance.
He'll never make it in this democratic city. He hasn't got a chance.
Chances are this November.
Buddy, who?
Recognition became the first major obstacle to overcome. How to introduce quickly and memorably this newcomer to the voters of the city who were basically unconcerned, if not apathetic.
Take a good look at the face on your TV screen. It belongs to Cianci, Buddy Cianci. Cianci is so tough, he was Special Assistant Attorney General, one of the top crime fighters in Rhode Island. Cianci is so incorruptible, he headed up the anti-corruption strike force in this state. And Cianci moves with so much personal conviction, he's willing to run as a Republican in this of all cities, in this of all years. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Cianci around Providence, in Mount Pleasant, Washington Park, the East Side, Olneyville, downtown, Federal Hill. And he's going to be talking a lot of rare common sense, too, about your neighborhood and city. Maybe you haven't seen much of Buddy Cianci yet, but by November, he's going to look mighty good to you. Paid for by the Cianci for Mayor Committee. Roland Dumont, Chairman.
The basic strategy that took shape during those early spring days was based on some stark political realities. Of the 50,000 votes cast in the 1970 mayoral race, the Democrat incumbent took 34,000. The Republican challenger got only 16,000. So to win, many thousands of Democrats and independent voters would have to be brought into the Cianci column in November. The appeal was to be direct and hard-hitting, aimed at the way people felt about the City Hall machine in power for 10 years, and how they felt about their city that showed signs of deterioration. Buddy had talked to a lot of men and women and kids from around the city. He heard the distrust in their voices. He saw the frustration in their eyes. So he talked to them again and again about those gut feelings.
You know, we could have a fantastic city here. It all depends on who's mayor the next 4 years. If the Democratic machine candidate wins November 5th, we're all going to be the losers. Join me, Buddy Cianci, and together we'll beat machine politics in our city, bring business and life back downtown, stop neighborhood decay, and get our city moving. We can all be winners on November 5th, and that's important because we all have so much to lose.
Vote for Vincent Buddy Cianci, the anti-corruption candidate.
Buddy took his campaign right to the people, along the streets, into every ward, often from house to Elks Halls, fraternal organizations, church halls, and at every coffee party, carnival, wedding, festival, and the like that his staff could arrange. His schedule was a killer. Nightly strategy sessions and phone calls firmed up positions, prepared press releases, and planned the next day's moves. But with financial support still hampered by the feeling that his campaign didn't have a chance, Cianci television, radio, and newspaper advertising had to be carefully planned to ensure maximum effective exposure for the limited available funds. In the meantime, press coverage of the Cianci efforts were little more than perfunctory, since the immediate interest in the city was focused on the five-way Democrat primary coming up in September. But Buddy Cianci maintained the intensity of his attacks on the incumbent machine, balancing them with his creative ideas on getting the city on the move again. He attacked proposals for a new convention center, citing the need to attract new industry to the city as a higher priority. He labeled as a blatant political hoax the mayor's claim that he cut nearly 800 jobs from the city payroll, and the facts proved him right. In mid-August, he called for enactment by the city council of a stiff conflict of interest law. He offered a 10-point plan to fight crime in the city that featured putting police patrols back on the neighborhood beats, reopening precinct stations in the neighborhoods, and starting a citizens' campaign to increase crime reporting. He also gave top priority to placing city jobs under civil service. The late summer polls, however, showed him still a long shot. But the turning point in the campaign came September 10th with the Democrat primary. Mayor Joseph Dorley barely squeaked out renomination with a little over 15,000, while his opponents totaled more than 29,000 votes. So if only half of those unhappy Democrats could be won over, about 14,000 added to his Republican strength, Buddy Cianci would have the votes and be the next mayor of Providence. Among the flood of phone calls that primary night was one from a group of campaign workers for one of the losing candidates. They asked Buddy to come over and meet with them. Could such an impromptu meeting be fruitful? Buddy thought so, and he made the trip. The discussion gave him the opportunity to demonstrate that he wanted the same positive changes for the city that they wanted, that he offered the same kind of leadership that they sought. The result, the group assured Buddy that they would work desperately hard for him. Democrats for Cianci was born that night, a new organization apart from his Republican troops. The first of 6 such Democrat headquarters opened that week, and a former Democrat primary candidate was to become one of the co-chairmen.
Sure, I'm a Democrat, but 28,000 Democrats can't be wrong. I'm going for Buddy Cianci.
Beat the machine November 5th with Buddy Cianci.
I am a Democrat, and I am voting for Cianci. I like Cianci. He's young, aggressive, and I like his attitude.
I'm a Democrat, and I'm voting for Buddy Cianci because I want to make my vote count.
Beat the machine November 5th with Buddy Cianci.
The developing tempo of the campaign indicated 2 basic thrusts for Cianci, now that the final battle lines were drawn. One was to press for more daring, more creative proposals to help the people of the city and to catch their imagination. The broadcast and print news media were paying more attention now, which provided the candidate with more opportunities to gain wider exposure for his plans for the future of Providence. So he talked of bringing life to downtown and support of Project Interface, an imaginative plan for the renewal of downtown. He pleaded for care and extension of the city's ailing parks and greenery. He also had his own ideas for revitalizing the city's decaying waterfront, exciting new ideas that grabbed tremendous attention with a well-developed proposal commissioned and paid for by his own campaign funds.
You may never have been down to the waterfront before, but then again, it's never really been worthwhile. That sign is a good example of the decay down here. Elect me mayor, and we'll change that.
The second basic thrust for victory in November was to press the attack on City Hall. On October 1st, Buddy released details of his personal finances, tax returns, and a statement of his net worth. And he invited the incumbent to do the same. He never did. A few days later, in response to the local newspaper's disclosure of some of the incumbent's questionable financial dealings while in office, Buddy recalled that every honest citizen of Providence must be stunned by the disclosures. And his media attack on corruption moved apace.
Vincent Cianci, former prosecutor of the Attorney General's Anti-Corruption Strike Force, answers the mayor's question, where's the corruption?
On October 1st, Mayor, your Civic Center director was found guilty of soliciting a bribe. In July, the people learned that you've acquired $1 million in property on a salary of only $30,000 a year while enjoying special financial arrangements with the Industrial National Bank. This bank is the major depository of city funds you administer. I don't consider your corruption question or candidacy valid until you make a full financial disclosure, as I did.
They kept up the campaign pressure, and a journal bulletin sampling showed that Cianci was closing the gap. That, Buddy was quick to point out, is hard evidence that the people of Providence have decided that this is the year that they want a change in City Hall. Momentum seemed to be gaining in Buddy's campaign, although polls still showed a 16-point spread.
Lombardi. Where you from, Elizabeth?
Federal Hill?
Well, I hope you help me in November.
I will.
Thank you.
People were responding, though, and the two-pronged strategy was beginning to produce the breaks that a successful campaign needs.
It's a time that, the city should have a little change, and I think this would be the right man.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you very much.
He put in an appearance at a well-attended labor convention and was asked to leave. A release was issued on the snub that let them also re-emphasize Buddy's long-standing commitments to labor. The story received wide coverage. When the police picketed City Hall for its failure to supply certain equipment specified in their contract, Buddy joined them, again demonstrating his commitment to fair play and labor's struggle. The incumbent mayor began to respond, which of course added still more coverage and interest to the Cianci drive. The final weeks of that drive brought perfect chances to boost his reach for the imagination and confidence of voters in both parties. But more than attacking, Buddy Cianci was learning about the people he would serve and tirelessly letting the people learn about him. His radio and television schedule had been heavied up, and the voters were meeting the man Cianci in the media as well as in person.
We'd like you to meet someone we're very proud of. He was his father's best friend, a student, an athlete, a lieutenant, a lawyer, a man who's had power and used it with integrity. Like when he was prosecutor of the state's anti-corruption strike force, he has the ability and talent to lead our city. When he's mayor, you'll be as proud of him as I am. My favorite candidate, Buddy.
I'll need your support to help me beat the machine on November 5th. Vote for me, Buddy Cianci.
By the last week of October, a feeling of victory prevailed, but there were still pitfalls. There was another newspaper sampling published just 2 days before the election showing that Cianci only had 24% of the vote, with 30% undecided. But the poll was conducted by two men who had done extensive polling for Democrat candidates in the past. Many people believe that had it not been for this poll, Cianci's margin of victory would have been much greater. Still, with Democrats for Cianci hard at work, with the endorsement of one of the participants in the Democrat primary, the die was cast for change, as Buddy's final television appeal was to stress.
Just a few months ago, not many people knew Buddy Cianci. Then he called for a new 10-point crime-fighting program, civil service for city workers, and no new taxes. Programs for the elderly, downtown revival. He called for dynamic changes on the waterfront, new leadership for Providence, and we're answering his call. Join the exciting majority now. Vote to help Buddy win, and we'll all be the winners November 5th.
On election eve, the campaign issued a special newspaper insert. It outlined fully the basic points of Buddy's program and vision for a better Providence. Voting was close. And despite the procedural call for a recount, it was decisive. By Friday, November 8th, 3 days after election, it was official. Cianci by 709 votes. It was the Democrats' year across the country, but in Providence, it was to be the year of the people, a time for change, for hope, for promises to be met. The celebration would be for a campaign hard fought and a victory hard won. But it would also lead off a year of remarkable achievement. Buddy Cianci, named Rhode Island Man of the Year, and cited by the JCs as one of the 3 outstanding young men in New England, continues to inject his enthusiasm and constructive innovation into the processes of city government. It did not go unnoticed.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest will be introduced by a delegate from Rhode Island, a former special assistant.
When the Republicans met to select their candidate for president in 1976, Mayor Cianci was chosen to speak to the conventioneers and millions of TV viewers across the nation.
Thank you very much. My fellow conventioneers, the name I'm about to bring to the attention of this convention is a man familiar to you all. But prior to fulfilling that responsibility, I'd like to address myself to Mr. Carter. If he's watching, that is. My name is Vincent Buddy Cianci, mayor of the great city of Providence, Rhode Island. Mr. Carter, I'm not an Italian, but an Italo-American, and proud of my ethnic background. When you refused to see the Italo-American delegation last month, you hurt me and offended all my ethnic friends. Let me remind you that the greatest source of manpower for the building of this great nation came from the 23 million foreigners who immigrated to our shores in search of a better opportunity. From them comes the rich variety of cultures that characterizes our American way of life. For too long, ethnics have been treated as votes and statistics by democratic political machines that stifle their hopes, laughed at their ambitions, and scoffed at their dreams. For too long, we've been seen by sociologists and urban planners as figures on a graph, or spoken of in academic terms. Our great Republican Party has seen fit to recognize the needs of our neighborhoods by including our particular interests in this year's platform. This grand old party will rekindle the American dream for the Greek American, for the Polish and Armenian American, for the German, French, and Afro-American, and for the Italo-American too, for they either live in or came from the neighborhoods of this great country. Yes, our Republican ranks contain many of us who are proud that we come from Federal Hill and Providence, from the streets of the north end of Boston, or from Floresville, Texas, because it shall be from the cities and neighborhoods of the East and the West that Republicans, independents, yes, and even Democrats with names that end in O and I, or Z or Ski, they're the ones who'll help us with the big win, because when we win the neighborhoods, we'll win in November.
The recognition Providence's newcomer mayor has received nationally is but a symbol of the position the city has regained in response to open government that truly involves its citizens, in response to the return of a sense of pride as one of the country's most honored and historic cities, and in recognition of what one man can do to generate the rebirth of a city, to make it more important than the politics of its people. It was the promise of change fulfilled. It's the end of our story and the beginning of a new Providence.